In this video, I'm gonna tell you all about why I decided to get into the schoolie space for short-term rentals, how I think this is going to go because of total noob on this, and then what I expect to get out of this deal, what I think my ROI might even be. Without further ado, let's get into the schoolie project. Take you to school. Welcome back, family. Your short-term rental host, operator, and friend, Sean Rakidzich, at your service to talk about some school buses. But obviously, this school bus is gonna go on the short-term rental market, and those of you who are watching this just for the schoolie factor, I need to catch you up. I've been doing short-term rentals for 7 years. I just got back from Austin. We're finally expanding. We just picked up our first set of keys. So let me give you a quick run through of how that went. I filmed some stuff on my phone. Let's take a look. So as you can see, there's much going on in my world. That business is fully automated, but I went down there because I'm like, hey, we're using a third-party company to do staging and launch for the first time ever. That's important. And we had a girl who just got back from vacation and she would have went otherwise. I'm like, you know what? Chill, work your way back in post-vacation. And I needed the content anyway, right? That's what this YouTube channel is all about. So you're gonna be seeing Austin videos, you're gonna be seeing schoolie videos, you're gonna be seeing all the typical business stuff. And since this channel is essentially changed, it's no longer Airbnb automated, but it's your friend's name, Sean Theodore Rakidzich, which is STR. How weird is that, right? You're gonna be seeing a little bit more business general stuff because it does apply to the short-term rental space. So I got a schoolie by searching around on the internet. It's got a school bus. I found one that's actually a rebuilt title. And this is going to matter, I think, for the future because you could potentially rent a schoolie on Turo. You might, but you can't rent cars on Turo that have a rebuilt title, I'm pretty sure. So that will affect how that world works, but I wasn't really expecting to get my lion's share of business from Turo anyway, because I plan on driving it places and then sitting it still is how this is probably going to go. So imagine there's gonna be an event here in Dallas. There's gonna be just tons of people coming in, right? Maybe even for even this a Cowboys game. I could park that bus somewhere, pay somebody like daily rent and just like have somebody stay there and pay a great amount of money. This bus could end up in California for an event, Vegas, Boston, Chicago. I can just chase some of the highest revenue nights out there. And then on the downtime, I can park it somewhere like really cool that will have a good nightly rate because it's interesting and just kind of map it out like that. Now, I will need multiple listings for everywhere that this bus can go. It's gonna be really weird, so just follow along as I implement this. You're gonna see me do a lot of really crazy stuff as far as creating short-term rental listings for different geographic locations for one door, because this door moves, and that's kind of wild. Because it's a rebuild, I got it at a good price. I actually got this bus with only 72,000 miles on the bus. It's a 2012, and I got it for about $20,000. Now that's gonna be a huge factor here for my return on investment on this, and that's why I went with this rebuilt one, because you know me, as an arbitrage guy, somebody who rents doors instead of buys stuff, it's all about your down payment on things. Now this bus could be done probably for less than $50,000 out the door if I'm trying to save money all the way. And that's because I got the bus for 20 grand. And it's a new enough bus that I can not have to do all of the cautionary stuff. If you go and take a cheap bus that's more than 20 years old, a lot of stuff has to go, like a lot of it. Everything in the floor would have to go. We're gonna look at the floor and decide if we wanna pull the floor and then insulate the floor, or if we like it as is. So stay tuned for that. But the goal here is to, for once, own a short-term rental and to do it at a really low cost and to be able to do something that's duplicatable. Now, in this space, there isn't really a debt product that services this space, but my company is big enough now that if I decided that this proof of concept works, my neighbor will give me a $3 million business loan. So I could scale this, but this is also highly achievable for somebody with a good amount of coin in their back pocket, and they're not really trying to pull a mortgage right now because the housing market's a little crazy, don't you think? And that's what a lot of people are afraid of is, in the cities, these homes have become so expensive that if you did take a mortgage on a house and then the market corrected because interest rates go up and then home prices go down, you could end up upside down on a property, and that is no fun. So this bus thing is where you can create value, and this is a generic business concept. All businesses run on pretty much the concept of value creation. That's where profit comes from. It's gonna cost you $5 for A, $5 for B. That's a total cost of $10, and together you could sell A and B for $20, and that's a profit of $10, right? So in this case, the bus is 20 grand, the rehab could be 30. I could spend as much as 45,000 on it because I'm gonna use it personally. I'm gonna do some cool stuff with it. But out the door, labor and everything, I could get this bus done under $80,000, no problem, even as low as 60 if I tried. And then that bus could get flipped. I could sell the bus for over $100,000 and just make money on it like that and do a couple new ones. Or I put it on Airbnb, put it on VRBO, put it on a couple other websites that actually specialize in RVs and stuff like that. And I can start to kind kind of work into that space. There are interesting listings out there in this world. Like there's these teardrop trailers that people put in their backyards and they're renting them for sometimes over $100 a night for this really cheap teardrop trailer that doesn't even have a bathroom in it. People are renting out yurts in places like Joshua Tree for hundreds of dollars a night. You know, interesting spaces, tree houses and stuff, they sell. They sell for a good amount of money. So I'm trying to intersect interesting listing with location at the same time, and I'm gonna try to fetch. You know, if I can get $400 to $1,000 a night for a lot of the nights of the year because I'm putting this bus in the right place at the right time, my cost becomes logistics of getting it there and getting it out and stuff like that. And I will probably choose interesting build out items eventually based on how operating a short-term rental might affect the design. So for example, with plumbing, we're not gonna use a black water tank. Absolutely not. Probably gonna start with a composting toilet, but that still requires the housekeeping staff to handle some form of waste, and that's no fun. There are toilets in the space that incinerate everything and essentially keep the toilet sanitary at all times because of the incineration process, and that would make it easier for housekeepers to do their job, but it will also make it much more expensive to build the schoolie out. So that's an example of something that might get affected if you're thinking about making a school bus a schoolie for short-term rent. You're probably also like peeping the stuff behind me, peek into my life, since you know now this is a more personal channel. The reason why I have these black curtains back here is because my penthouse is on PEERSPACE. I have a video or two now that talks about my PEERSPACE experiences, and those are C-stands and curtain rods, and that's super important for either controlling light, controlling echoes and stuff with sound, and C-stands are super important, and I supply those because I charge, you know, $200+ an hour for my penthouse, and that's what the curtains are for. I have weights on a cart because I deadlift more than my gym provides, and I'm not allowed to leave my weights downstairs. I'm trying to hit a new personal record for my deadlift, which will be 505 when I get there one day, or I blow my back out. Hopefully that doesn't happen. Don't jinx it, but my PR will be 505 one day, and I'm working on that. And then my newest geodes. I love stones, specimens, minerals. Those babies, they're 1,200 pounds. It was really hard to move them. And I'm considering this bus I'm considering naming it Earth Mover and making the theme like very Sedona, Arizona gemology, you know, mineral specimens and stuff, and just get a bunch of really cool types of stones and like ordain the inside with natural elements, maybe. So stay tuned. I would love your advice at this point because I'm a total newbie. I drove the bus for the first time today. That was fun. I've driven box trucks and stuff, but buses are a different animal. So your advice, your experiences, if you've made a bus, we can collab potentially. If you have questions, you want me to stop at certain points in this bus experience and get in like detail the stuff you're trying to learn, now is your opportunity to guide the content for the video series that will be this schoolie conversion. I'm excited to give it to you. Thanks for hanging out in this video. I know it wasn't necessarily the most educational thing, but it's a necessary stop along the way because we're about to jam some content. I learned for my short-term rental business, a lot of this is gonna be trial and error, but you're gonna see it in real time. Instead of like seeing my business as a culmination of years of experience, you're gonna see me bump my toe on a lot of edges, I think, on this bus thing. I'm super stoked for that. Actually, I love to fail forward, and it's gonna be cool for you guys to see that in real time. Thank you for watching, as always, my friends, and I'll see you on the other side.